Hello good people and welcome to the drawing board. So today I am drawing an old school, old style pistol, like a revolver. That's right, going back to the Wild West, straight up Jesse James and Billy the Kid and John Wayne all rolled up into one nice package. Now I do want to apologize for the lighting here to begin with, because as you can see the light kind of reflects off the paper. It was a sunny day, I was sitting next to a window, and it just makes it difficult to see what's going on the paper, especially here in the beginning as I'm laying down the foundation, the basic shapes, and I'm sketching really lightly. It does get better towards the end of the video, but just rest assured that I will be more mindful about this in future videos. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the actual drawing. So as you can see, I'm starting out with some basic shapes. I've got a couple of rectangles going. There's one for the body of the gun, there's one for the handle of the gun. Right now I'm drawing another rectangle which becomes a split cylinder. The drum, I think it's called, it's where the actual bullets go. I also have, before that, as you can see, a full-on cylinder which is the barrel of the gun. And right now I'm starting this third cylinder. Long skinny one. I'm not entirely sure what that is actually. I think it's part of the loading mechanism maybe. I'm sorry, I'm not a big connoisseur of guns. If somebody out there watching this video know what this is, you're most welcome to post a comment and explain it to me, because I would love to learn. So basically what's going on is that I am very lightly sketching out the shapes that I'm trying to capture, right? And as I sort of find them on the paper, very carefully, then I add more pressure, more color to the ones that best represent the shape that I'm going for, basically. So that's really the process, right? And that's what you're doing. I am not particularly systematic in my drawing, as you can probably tell. I sort of go back and forth between different parts of the motif, and I slowly sort of work my way through the whole process. So here I am getting to the trigger guard, I think it's called, the thing that's in place to make sure that you don't shoot yourself in the foot by accidentally hitting the trigger. And that's just a basic round shape, as you can see. It's not really a circle, it's more like a fat ellipse. But the challenge with that was like getting the angling of it right. So as you can see, because the gun is at an angle, the front part of the trigger guard, you see the outside of it, and on the rear part, the one that's closer to the handle, you actually see the inside of it. And so getting that angling right can be a bit of a challenge, but that's when an eraser comes in real handy, right? And here comes the actual trigger, and just drawing that in and making sure it has the right 3D feel to it, right? Here comes the hammer, the one that makes you actually able to fire the gun. And as you can maybe tell right away, I drew that quite a bit too big. So you'll actually see me reducing that in size a little bit later on in the drawing. But again, that's part of the process, pretty much designing it as I go along. And a few details on the drum there, though it has those grooves going down the side of it, with like a rounded shape to them, so I'm drawing that in. here I am drawing the handle of the gun, and I actually decided that it was a little bit too small, as you can see here, so I drew it a bit bigger. And just as with the hammer of the gun there, that's kind of the name of the game, right? If you like designing it as you go along, then you know corrections must be made. Here is the part where I am correcting that hammer, as I mentioned before. I'm drawing it smaller. Now, to be honest with you, I still think it's too big actually. As I look at it now, I can see that it sticks out way too high. But that'll be experience for future drawings. And so now I am finishing up the barrel. As you can see, a bit of an ellipse there. And a smaller one on the inside to give the thickness of the metal. And then I am drawing the small little thingamajig on the very tip of the barrel, which is what you use for aiming the gun. And then that's pretty much the basic shape of the gun done, right? So the rest of the drawing is just cleaning up the lines and adding maybe a few small details here and there. And of course the shading towards the end. Now I say just cleaning up the lines and adding the shading and the small details and all that, but that's no small part actually. It's really very, very crucial part of the whole process, and that last part is really what makes the drawing stand out, and it's what makes the drawing pop off the paper. It's what gives that 3D feel. So it's a very, very important part of it, and actually it takes a long time. So here you'll see me messing up again. I am drawing the shading wrong. Of that bottom groove, I'm drawing it on the lower part of it. Obviously it has to be on the upper part of it, because you have to have consistency with where your light source is coming from. So you'll see me correcting that in a bit. And so just adding some texture to the handle of the gun. And the very last details, and that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching.